Velasquez laces it deep to center. Merrill's back. It's over his head and off the wall. Pasquantino around third. He scores. Blanco like lightning comes in to tie the game. And Nelson Velasquez head first into third with a triple.
Manager Matt Cotrero pulling the right strings, putting the right guy in. That was exciting. The crowd is up on their feet here. It's a beautiful opportunity for the Royals to stay away from their first sweep of the season.
Welcome to the Royals Rundown podcast presented by Royals Review. I am Jake Milham, joined by the capped, the hatted, Jeremy Greco. Jeremy, how are we breaking in the new Royals hat?
I've been known as like the wonderful, the amazing, the talented, and now I'm the behatted.
Yes, you are hatted as a Caius, as some would say. Jeremy is still sporting the black and blue look, the very decisive kit from the Royals days, just as Jeremy's Royals takes are usually pretty decisive.
The Royals are bloodied and bruised, black and blue, but they're not dead yet.
I didn't hear no bell. They're still out there fighting. All right, we were going to talk about Sunday's walk-off win, the issues with this team that got exposed during this recent stretch, and much, much more. But before we get to that, the people that make this podcast happen and are just putting out great written work it's royalsreview.com. You can check out Jeremy's work there, Max, Greg, Matt, the whole team, Preston. You can go up and down that entire list. There is something for every single Royals fan out there. History, prospects, game day, trade deadlines coming up. You got to get on royalsreview.com while you still can.
And the Royals are going to be busy, I promise you.
Oh, yes. Listen, I have a piece coming out that's talking about JJ Piccolo's behind the 8-ball. Okay, this time last year he had already traded for James MacArthur, so I need him to
Colin Selby.
Okay, all right, yeah, you got me there. I forgot about.
And MacArthur wasn't actually good until September.
That is true.
So maybe Selby's not going to be good until September. Like, it's okay.
I can't wait till this winter where we're talking about Colin Selby being the team's closer of the future. I'm so.
What have we done to MacArthur by then? We ran MacArthur over with the bus.
Yes.
Sorry about that. Colin Selby is the new closer.
All right, let's go ahead and get on to it. So, Jeremy, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the good first? You want to talk about Sunday first?
Yeah, let's start with the good. I in my past, I've been known. Here's a little behind the curtain. I've been known to try and write my articles where I lead with the bad and finish with the good, because that's kind of like how I finish is how I'm feeling. Yeah. So I'm like, let's start with the bad, let's end with the good. But other people, that's not how it goes. So let's start with the good.
All right.
Let's start with Nelson Velasquez.
Yeah, listen, Nelson Velasquez with a clutch as can be triple pinch hit coming off the bench, scoring 2 runs, tying up the game 3-3 against the Padres. And then Nick Lofton comes up behind him with a sacrifice fly deep to right field, scoring Velasquez from third base, and that is all she wrote. The Royals enter the bottom of the 9th inning down 3-1, and they exit it 1 out later as victors, winning 4-3 over the Padres. The most important thing about this for me, Jeremy, is the fact that once again, somehow the Royals avoided a sweep.
Yeah, they sure did.
Not been swept, and it is amazing, isn't it?
We're 2 months into the season.
Yep, that we are. And I didn't do the research. I'm going to leave that up to the research team over in Kansas City right now. I don't know how many times the 2023 Royals were swept.
Oh, I did that last night. You want me to pull that up for you?
Yes, please do. Was that your recap last night?
That was in my recap last night.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, go and pull that up. But this was
just a second. Keep going.
Okay. My bad. Okay. So this was a pretty ugly game for the Kansas City Royals. It was a very, very low scoring affair, tied 1-1 heading into the top of the 8th inning. And then just with the same thread that has been going on with this Royals bullpen, if it's not one person, it's another. Angel Zerpa, who has been very, very good for much of this season, just and for lack of a better term, shit the bed. Didn't get a single out, allowed 4 hits, 2 earned runs. Thankfully, James MacArthur came in behind him, cleaned things up, pitched a clean top of the 8th inning from when he had the ball. Then Will Klein came in behind him, earning his first win of the 2024 Major League season, striking out 1 in the top of the 9th. Jeremy, you got those sweep numbers, my friend?
I got them for you.
All right, what you got?
Here, I'll just read you this whole paragraph. Oh, never mind. Different paragraph. They at this point last season, the Royals had been swept 5 times already, and had already had 9 losing streaks of 3 games or worse. They've had 4 so far this year.
Wow.
Including a 4-gamer and a 7-gamer, and they were in the middle of a stretch that would lead to their 10th streak of 3 losses in a row. The last one would actually be another 4-game streak.
Dang. Damn. That's another pretty big improvement from this team, right, Jeremy?
Yeah.
I do want to ask you this, because I was truthfully heading into the bottom of the 8th. I had already mentally prepared myself for the sweep. I was preparing to head into Monday's off day and into this trip to Cleveland as the Royals losing 4 straight and getting swept for the first time this year. Was that your same expectation? And how
absolutely.
How does them avoiding it, not necessarily how they avoided it, but just avoiding it in general, how does that change your outlook ahead of the new week of baseball?
Avoiding the sweep doesn't change much for me. How they did it is important to me.
Okay.
Because much like the win that they earned for their 8th in a row against the Rays in the second game of that series last Saturday, it was a game that was tough fought. It was a game that 2023 Royals do not win. It was a game that perhaps the early 2024 Royals do not win. They had to keep trying. And also Nelson Velasquez is hitting again, and he wasn't earlier.
That is very
so it's the mental toughness to just actually keep trying and to believe and to say this actually matters whether we win this game or not. So we're not just gonna go out there and say, all right, have your free win. You didn't even bring your closer out. Robert Suarez is sitting in the bullpen because he's pitched 2 nights in a row. By the way, Friday night's game forced them to use Robert Suarez, meant they did not use Robert Suarez today. You think that doesn't make a difference? You think that comeback Friday night was pointless because they didn't make it? It meant a win today.
Now we saw the ripple effects of that.
And you better believe the Royals in the clubhouse are talking to each other about that. They haven't given up on games this year. Friday night's game I gave up on. They were blown out. I wasn't paying attention, and I went and looked at. They didn't get blown out. They made it a safe situation, and I was very surprised. It matters, and the Royals know it matters. The Royals have proof it matters now.
Yes,
and they're not going to quit trying now.
No, and this has to be such a big boost for that clubhouse, just being able to rally together and fight multiple times in this series alone. All right, we had that epic Friday night comeback, which was also, I wouldn't say epic, but it was a very, very notable comeback effort, which was also
3 feet short of a full comeback.
Exactly.
On the bat of who did the most of the comebacking, or a good chunk of the comebacking that night? Nelson Velasquez with the leadoff home run and the almost 3-run home run.
Yes. And imagine how different Royals fans will be talking right now if that had happened.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, just if Nelson had put it over the fence and closed out that game with a win. What was your point, Jeremy?
First of all, they would be saying the Royals can only beat teams that aren't very good because the Padres aren't even their Padres are only 500. That's what they would be saying. Instead of saying, the Royals lost another 2 games to an above 500 team.
So they can't win against winning teams now.
Yeah. Listen, this is what I got last night. And one of the comments on my game thread or game recap was that the Royals keep folding against the midway decent teams. No. Listen, there are so many teams that are right around 500 right now. So many teams that are right around 500 right now. And there are teams that are below 500 right now. The Blue Jays, pretty sure that the 6-1 record that the Royals had against them is the reason they're under 500 right now. Mm-hmm. If I have to look it up real quick, I don't remember what their exact record is. Yeah, they're 28-30. Without the Royals, they're 4 games over 500, 3 games over 500. Like this over 500, which is this stat that everyone is using right now, it means nothing in the middle of the year. There aren't enough games played yet for that to matter. There's so many teams that are around 500. And at the end of the year, I would argue it still doesn't mean anything because all that really matters is what was your record.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what was your record against over 500. No one cares. Did you make the playoffs? Doesn't matter if you only beat teams under 500. You made the playoffs. Well, I mean, it does kind of matter, I guess, going into the playoffs because then you're like, oh, well, the Twins aren't going to get anywhere because they only beat teams under 500 and they got to play the Yankees.
Well, how did that work out, Jeremy, huh?
Yeah. Royals, 2014 Royals, pretty sure they mostly beat up on bad teams, didn't win a lot of games against good teams. Remember, they absolutely struggled against the then Indians. And the White Sox and the Tigers. They struggle against all those. They can't even beat their divisional opponents, guys. They're just not that good. They went to Game 7 of the World Series, and only an otherworldly performance by Madison Bumgarner kept them from winning.
Yep. Jeremy, I'm right there on the same page with you about this whole above or below 500 mark for the opponents. I care about that for the Royals. I do. I'm sure Padres fans right now care about that for their team since they're hovering around 500 right now. The Royals, now they're 11 games above 500. That's not shit that Royals fans should be worried about right now. Okay? Let's divide baseball fans into 3 sections real quick, Jeremy. Stay with me on this bus for a little bit.
I'll let you talk for a minute.
Losing teams fans look forward to the trade deadline, who is in AAA right now, and what next year could be, a la the 2023 Royals or the 2024 Chicago White Sox. That is where they're at right now. Winning teams look at trends. They look at large stretches of the season and they say, this player is trending up, or this player is trending down, or this player has sucked all year for the most part, a la 2024 MJ Melendez. That's kind of what we're looking at. 500 teams, that simply put is this: they let a game's result determine their mood for the next 24 hours.
Oh, I'm not supposed to be doing that?
No, we're not supposed to be doing that, Jeremy.
I gotta work on something then.
It's not Chiefs season, okay? We're not gonna sit there and mull about the Royals losing for a week.
I don't get stressed about the Chiefs losing. I'm like, they're gonna win like 13, 14 games, at least 12. They're gonna win the division. I'm not concerned. But the Royals, it is still a little fresh for me. So I'm still a little, and I'll sit here and I'll be the first one to be like, listen, this is their first losing week in 2 months. Yeah. They had winning or 500 weeks every other week of the year so far. And then I'll also be like, I'm so stressed and sad because they lost games.
And it's okay to be upset about them losing a game. Like, I'm sure Padres fans are pretty pissed right now.
Oh yeah,
seeing that, because they have multiple good bullpen arms. The guy they had out there in the bottom of the ninth, a good bullpen arm. They weren't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. The Royals stole this game from the San Diego Padres. They really, really did. But is that going to make them feel worse about seeing that guy come out in the bottom of the 8th or the bottom of the 7th where we would usually see him come out? No, because they understand that he is a good player. So why can't we do that with this team? Understand that they have 2 MVP caliber players. They have one of the best rotations in the American League. And yes, their bullpen has been shit. The outfield is awful. And Kyle Isbell getting kneed in the side of the head, unfortunately, is just the imagery that represents the production level from this outfield so far in 2024.
kind of represents their play over the last week or so.
Yes, it does.
Kind of like, man, you were trying so hard and you need a guy in the head and now he's not playing. Maybe like just calm down a minute.
Yes, maybe so.
Can I say something real quick about the bullpen?
Yes.
Today the bullpen pitched 3 innings. They gave up 2 runs. Yes. They struck out 1. They've mentioned on the broadcast that the team looks at the bullpen and says, "This is not a strikeout bullpen. This is a matchups bullpen." Well, let me put it to you like this. When we look at a hitter, we say this hitter walks a lot. We're like, this hitter is not going to be prone to streaks. He's going to be consistently good. Yeah. Now, a hitter who gets a lot of hits but not a lot of walks, we say he's probably a little bit streaky. And we say a hitter who gets a lot of strikeouts, well, he might have some good stretches, but he's probably going to struggle.
Yeah.
When you look at a pitcher, flip that around. If they're getting a lot of walks, they're probably not going to be very good. They might have some good stretches, probably not going to be very good. If they're getting a lot of strikeouts, hey, they might have a couple bad games every once in a while, but they're probably pretty good. You're probably going to consistently see them pitch well. And if they're not getting a lot of walks or strikeouts, well, they're going to be kind of streaky.
Yep. And
this bullpen, going to be kind of streaky. They had a good streak. Earlier, they had a bad streak to start the year. Then they had a good streak where they were getting a lot of outs. And everything was fine. And now we're kind of in a bad streak where they're not striking guys out and those guys are getting hits. And it sucks. It's not fun. But here's the important thing to me about what makes this bullpen different from last year's bullpen. This bullpen is streaky. Yeah. I would like it to be less streaky.
Yes.
I know we would all like it to be less streaky. We would like it to just be good.
Yeah.
Last year's bullpen was bad. Walked a lot of batters. Walked so many batters. There was never any hope. There's at least hope now. If you go to the bullpen, it might be a bad night, but it might be okay. Oh, when I say this team is good, what I'm saying is, man, they have a really good starting rotation. You can miss me with the whole, like, these guys aren't as good as all that. They're fine. Yeah. Seth Lugo, maybe he regresses some. He's still very good. Yes. Cole Reagans probably has been pretty unlucky, honestly. Alec Marsh, pretty good. Brady Singer, I still have a lot of questions, but he's been very good up to this point. Michael Wacha, we're going to talk about in a minute. So we won't talk about him right this second. And you, as you said in the lineup, 2 MVP candidates. Then you've got 2 other hitters that you can rely on. You've got Michael Massey, who I think you can rely on, but he's on the injured list. Yeah. He will be a little bit streaky because he doesn't take the walks, but he doesn't strike out either. So a little bit. Now, then you look at the outfield, and they're also streaky. Look at Nelson Velasquez, but they're streaky leaning towards bad because they also strike out a lot. Correct. And MJ Melendez used to take a lot of walks, which kind of would give you a little bit of a buffer against that, but he's not taking the walks anymore either. Nope. So this team is a good team. What this team is it does not have any places where you're like, well, that is automatically a bad time. Right? Yeah. That's what we're saying right now. There are no relievers in this bullpen that we're like, yeah, well, that's it. 6 runs. Definitely going to happen right now.
Yeah.
We don't have, and the lineup can produce runs. It will not always produce runs because it's got too many streaky hitters. The pitching will usually prevent runs, but it won't always prevent runs because, got a streaky bullpen. So we're going to have to learn, including me, believe me, including me, we're going to have to learn a little bit of, like, as you were saying, don't take every win and loss directly to your heart and prepare to just die with every loss. There's going to be stretches where this team, until or unless they make a whole bunch of trades to bring it, which is what they kind of did in the offseason, was they brought in some starting pitchers to give you a floor, to say we're not going to be bad as a starting rotation. Unless they do that for the outfield and the bullpen, we're going to have some bad stretches this year where the team looks awful. And we're going to have some good stretches where the team looks amazing. We've already had a 7-game winning streak, and we've already had an 8-game winning streak. Now we've had a streak where they've lost 6 out of 8. Not fun. Nope, not fun. Not the end of the world either.
No. This hasn't knocked the Royals out of. Well, let's put it like this: if they were the Detroit Tigers right now, who are sitting at 28-30, like I would be okay if the Royals were sitting there. Like, if you would have told me at 58 games, the Royals would be sitting with that record, I'd be happy. I'd be like, okay, this is a much better team than it was last year. A 6-8 or losing 6 of the next 8 games would absolutely destroy that team and their outlook for the rest of the season, in my opinion. The Royals, like I said before, are still double-digit games above 500. They are 36 and 25. I get it. That gap between them and the Guardians is very, very wide right now. Okay, but they're going to go to Cleveland and play the Guardians for the first time this season.
This is going to be an intense matchup.
Jeremy, we say this every goddamn episode. This is a test.
We say this is an important matchup. Now I'm saying this is going to be an intense matchup.
It is. It is. This is going to be, I am expecting an absolute dogfight. That is what I'm expecting.
By the way, the Royals, per the Path to 90 by the great Suff76, one of our commenters, I think he's a commenter, might be a actual writer for Royals Review. I haven't seen them in the Slack, but per Suff76, the Royals at the end of May needed to be 32 and 26.
They are
the Royals are way ahead of schedule.
Yeah. All right. So y'all can miss me with this shit. Now let me come back down to earth here real quick, Jeremy, and then we'll move on from this, I promise. The Royals, this Royals bad stretch was good for the fact that it hopefully showed the front office and the coaching staff, okay, this is where we can and can't improve. Or this is where we need to improve. This is where we need to invest our time, our energy, and our resources into improving. Okay, we talked about it last episode. We're going to come to a time where it is all trade ideas, all why, all the time. We're not quite there yet right now. The trade mill is starting to circulate, but I think everyone can walk away from this Padres series and agree the Royals need to invest time and resources into improving the bullpen, and they need to be selective. Okay, they don't need to be looking at, oh, well, this guy has a good ERA or this guy doesn't allow a whole lot of walks. No, they need to look for the guys who fit their profile, but also strike out guys.
Yeah. One interesting thing that I've been thinking about just a little bit was an interesting point brought up again in last night's recap. Y'all commenting on the recaps. I love you all, even though I argue with some of you endlessly. Some of you have some really interesting points and I'm stealing them. Thanks. Somebody said, like the Royals last year traded Aroldis Chapman for Cole Reagans, and that was a really good trade. And we need our own Aroldis Chapman, not Aroldis Chapman. Please give me someone not Aroldis Chapman, someone good. We need a good reliever, man. But we don't have a Cole Reagans to trade anybody. First of all, we have the Cole Reagans. Second of all, the Rangers didn't know they had a Cole Reagans, or they would not have done that trade.
Exactly.
They would absolutely not have traded Cole Reagans for Aroldis Chapman if they thought they could get this Cole Reagans.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have to trade Cole Reagans. We have to trade a starter that another team looks at and says, we can fix him. The same way that the Royals looked at Cole Reagans and said, we could fix him.
Yep.
So that means we can trade a Frank Mazzucato. We can trade a Daniel Lynch. We can trade Jonathan Bolin. I don't know why I always want to call him Alec Bolin. That's not his name. Perhaps, heaven forbid, we could trade a Chris Bubich. And that's what it would take to get a really good reliever on this market, probably. I mean, maybe you got to add one other guy, somebody in a lottery ticket guy, which is what, I mean, the Royals got, Reagans and a lottery ticket guy. I can't even remember who the lottery ticket guy. I know he was hitting well in the Arizona complex once they got him. I don't remember who he was to check his numbers now.
I can't even tell you now.
But that's what the trade would take. It doesn't take Cole Reagans. It takes Daniel Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they trade Daniel Lynch and they get a Suarez or I don't know who all is going to be available. I haven't looked at everybody's bullpens right now. Get a Urseg, get a Mason Miller, probably not a Mason Miller, but
probably not.
If they did I think everybody, if you get a Mason Miller, you're like, yep, Daniel Lynch, Mason Miller, do that, do it now, do it. Don't let them say, get it done already. All right, so that's where we're at. Okay, is relievers are not going for 5 top prospects like they were in the early 2000s. They're going for one mediocre prospect that you think you could fix.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's we talked, I remember talking about this offseason and saying that the James MacArthur trade was a good example of the Royals winning in the margins, making a minor transaction. And I get it. James MacArthur it's been a roller coaster in 2024, to say the least. Yeah. But them turning a Dominican Summer League prospect into James MacArthur, a contributing player in the Major League bullpen, I think that is considered winning in the margins. That is where I don't need the Royals to take one big swing. I would rather them take 3 good swings and see what hits and see what works.
And let me make one more point about this that it goes along with what you're saying. In 2014, when the Royals got to the deadline, they weren't sure. They're like, we're winning. We could go to the playoffs. We'd like to add to this roster, but boy, we don't want to sell our future to just get to the playoffs, right? So they added at the margins. In 2015, they said, we're going to the playoffs. We know we're going to the playoffs. We've played too well to not go to the playoffs. So what we're doing is we're adding extremely talented guys. We're adding the best starting pitcher on the market. We're adding the best position player on the market so that we can win the dang thing. The 2024 Royals are closer to the 2015 Royals than the 2014 Royals. These guys, this team is going to look for opportunities to add top level rent talent, not Jason Willingham, Ben Zobrist.
I like
okay.
That.
So get excited and realize that, and remember that when the Royals traded for the best starting pitcher on the market and the best position player on the market, the only guy who's meant anything to anybody that they traded was Sean Manaea. They traded Brandon Finnegan and people were upset about it. Brandon Finnegan, he did not turn into anything. As it turns out.
No, he didn't.
I love him for what he did in 2014, at the end of 2014. Absolutely love him for that. But he didn't turn into anything. He was not a loss for the Royals. Didn't hurt them. Those were good trades.
Yes.
And the Royals can make those trades again.
They can.
I trust this front office more than I ever trusted that front office to make good trades like that.
True. That is a great point. Here's, in that same vein, though, and we should definitely move on from the trade stuff after this point.
We might want to save some of that for closer to the deadline, huh?
Yeah. I think this front office is in a unique position because they're still dealing with so much talent that was selected and brought in by a former regime. So here's my point. Like, let's say there's a guy in AAA that is looking okay, but this current coaching staff just isn't in on because, like, hey, they don't have this tool or they don't fit our profile right now. Okay, well, maybe he fits some other team's profile, or maybe he could fit what they want. That's when you trade him, and if you find that fit, you take it and you run with it. All right, because that also opens up a spot for your guy to hopefully progress into. So it's just like we talked about with Suarez having to come out and close on Friday. We saw the ripple effects on Sunday. If you make those moves now, you will see hopefully good, but maybe bad. Either way, you will see ripple effects from years from now. That's how the farm system works, and that is what makes it so exciting for so many people. All right, Jeremy, let's sorry, I got a little worked up there.
No, I did not. I was completely calm, cool, and collected that entire time.
You were definitely
not excitedly shouting into my microphone.
Yeah, you're kind of known for your even keeledness.
Yeah, I'm the noted non-overreactor.
Yeah,
That's my nickname.
You.
It's very pithy.
I was looking for the term noted non-overreactor. Well, thankfully, we will all have time to collect our emotions and things like that when the Royals aren't playing on Monday as they are traveling to Cleveland. I know, dude. Like, it's so...
And right before the Cleveland series.
Yeah. Whew. Gonna get all sorts of worked up before that series starts off.
Did David Fry stop hitting yet? I would like David Fry to please just cool it, dude, for 3 days. Okay? Just cool it.
Yes. Just chill out.
You can hit as many home runs and whatever else you want to hit after this series, okay? Until you face the Royals again.
Yes. Wish you nothing but the best, except against the Royals. Then I wish you the worst. The worst possible outcomes. Strikeouts every single time. Unfortunately, some Kansas City Royals players did experience the worst possible outcomes this past week. So let's go ahead and start off with the closest shark to the boat. Kyle Isbell. He was replaced in center field by Garrett Hampson in the 6th inning after Isbell collided with Bobby Witt Jr. on a play in the outfield in the top of the 5th inning. Okay, so Isbell, he gutted it out for that half of the inning, but after that, he exited with a quote-unquote non-concussive head/neck injury. Jeremy, I don't know about you, but I was surprised that they let him stay in the game. Maybe that's the NFL approach in me, but like after a guy gets kneed in the side of the head and then slams it into the ground, I would have pulled him out just to be safe. So I'm glad to see.
Well, and especially a guy who's already got a fractured something in his face.
Fractured nose, I think.
Fractured nose where he's got to wear the lacrosse goggles.
Yeah.
And when he's running the bases, well, I still don't why only when he's running the bases. What makes base running so much more dangerous for his face than batting or fielding?
Yeah. I get it because you don't want the ball to cross into the blind spots of that for like batting, but
sure.
why not wear it for fielding? I guess maybe
not that it would have helped in this situation.
No, it wouldn't have, but I don't get it either. I think we're all on the same page for that. Like, why just base running again? Kyle, can you explain that? But that's okay. So Jeremy, we might be seeing a lot more Garrett Hampson in the lineup. We might be seeing.
Well, at least he's hitting. He's a really good hitter. He's a talented hitter. He's just batting all over the place. Yeah. Had a 7-game hitting streak coming into today. I think he lost it, but he had one.
Did he? Yeah, I guess he did lose it, didn't he? Listen, there is no denying Garrett Hampson was one of the better batters for the Royals in May. Just the toot blondes were a little toot much, if you will.
He didn't toot blonde today, so whatever.
Hey, you know what? He didn't have a negative effect on the game, at least.
I mean, he struck out and he made another out, but he didn't toot blonde. So
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how Quatrero approaches that. I think Preston Farr pointed out that it's been a couple of days since we saw Drew Waters as well. So maybe there's...
I heard Gavin Cross also got pulled in the middle of a game.
Yeah, so Gavin, and I don't know when the Storm Chasers and the Naturals play today, but Gavin Cross and Drew Waters, last I knew, they are MIA. No injuries reported. So I think there has to be some sort of move in the works.
They cannot keep MJ Melendez up here. It's not working.
No, they can't. They can't. And I do want to touch on that because very rarely this season, I guess, have I looked at a batter at the plate and said, all right, this is like, no matter the situation, all right, this is pretty damn near an automatic out. All right, instead of an intentional walk, the Royals should just take an automatic out because maybe they won't ground into a double play. And that's just how I'm feeling about MJ Melendez right now. I'm
not even concerned about him hitting into a double play because you'd have to make contact with the ball first.
That's true. Do you remember that? Do you remember his matchup against Dylan Cease earlier on in this series?
I do not.
You remember watching that? So it had to have been so mortifying, I think is the right word, for Melendez. because Cease is a fastball pitcher. And what does Melendez struggle against? The fastball, plain and simple. And the man is striking out on 4-seam fastballs that are about half a foot above the strike zone. And it's like, what are we doing, man? This is supposed to be the bread and butter for power hitters, especially when they're young. This is supposed to be the pitch that you just line up and you crush and you keep it moving. At least that's what it was for Salvi for so many years. And now we see MJ Melendez, who we know he has the power. We know he has the ability to draw a walk. But right now he's just going up to the plate and swinging frustrated. He's trying to change his career trajectory with every single swing. And you can't do that at the major league level. That's not sustainable, and it only hurts the team. And seeing him come up to the plate, I need to pull up the box.
They noted during one of his swings that his bottom was falling out during the swing. And I was like, I think his bottom falls out during every swing anymore. Yeah. This swing has gone from ugly to just awful. And he just looks completely lost up there. By the way, I just checked both of the Naturals and the Storm Chasers are both final today. Okay. And Waters did not appear for either team.
There has to be something.
And with the off day tomorrow, feels really like it's go ahead and let's 2 months into the season, off day tomorrow. Let's go ahead and make that move. Yeah. Waters can come up. Maybe Melendez goes all the way to AA and Cross can go to AAA and see what he can do there.
Man, that would be a hell of a drop, wouldn't it?
But, well, it reminds me of Alek Manoah. They sent him last year. He struggled so hard. They sent him straight to single A.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be entirely unprecedented, but I don't know what you do with Melendez right now.
I don't know.
Like I was saying, like you're saying, he just looks, he can't, the fastball is the one, like it's the stereotypical thing. Go watch Major League. The guy can, the big guy, I can't remember his name. He worships Jobu, hits the fastball.
Yep.
Can't hit the curveball. That's what you can hit. If you can only hit one pitch, it's the fastball. Melendez isn't hitting the fastball, so he's not hitting any, and why would they throw him anything else? Fastball's the easiest pitch to throw. You just there it is, fastball.
And it's just so disappointing right now.
This is what I said all offseason. His swing is long, and that's what kind of has borne out. His swing is long. He looks awkward. I don't trust it. Yeah, when he makes contact, he hits it hard, but it's hard for him to make contact when his swing is that long and awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And he was taking walks, but they're like, well, why would I worry about, I'll just throw him a fastball. He can't catch up to it with that swing. He's going to have to, I almost believe he's going to have to completely overhaul his swing and start over again.
Yeah, you think so?
Which is one of the reasons I think you might demote him to AA or single A and be like, listen, sorry, bud, this swing does not work. You got to start over again. You cannot, a tweak is not going to fix this.
We're starting from the ground up, which that has to be just so humbling. If that is the approach, that has to be so humbling for any major league player.
And it's hugely disappointing for Melendez, who I know has worked really hard. He worked really hard on his defense all offseason, and it has paid off this year. I know some people are like, oh, he misplayed this one thing. Well, yeah, everybody has mistakes, unless you're Alex Gordon. He also made a fantastic running catch last night over his head. I think it was last night. The guy, you can't fault his work ethic. I do not fault his work ethic. I'm not saying he's a bad person. He's obvious, and he's way better at baseball than I'll ever be. But they gotta do something, and I'm afraid that it's gonna have to be something drastic.
Mm-hmm. And that brings up a good point that I forgot. When I talked to his dad before opening day this season, it was the shift to the outfield was a move to keep his bat in Kansas City. Like that is what he wanted to do, and he wanted to contribute to the Royals with his bat still. So he learned a whole new position on the fly. Now the whole reason why he wanted to do that is his downfall. So I don't know what you do with him. It's definitely going to be an interesting story to watch because I don't know, man. I want to believe.
I would love for MJ Melendez to have success.
Yeah,
I would.
I think that's where I'm at.
but it's not happening. There needs to be a change, and I think it needs to be a big change. We've seen him make tweaks to his swing. We've seen him make tweaks to his swing this year. It has not helped.
Yeah. It's very disappointing. All right, let's get back on track because we do need to talk about Michael Wacha.
Yeah.
So that was an unfortunate turn of events. If you missed it, the Royals announced Sunday morning that right-hander Michael Wacha has been placed on the 15-day IL, retroactive to June 1st, with a left foot fracture. That fracture came when he was struck by a comebacker off a Luis Arias hit in Saturday's game. Give me 1 second. My cat is stepping on my keyboard, and it is not going well, Jeremy. Not going well at all.
That's a lot like when you normally type.
Yeah. True. I had it all pulled up right here. He stayed in the game, still pitched a very, very good game on Saturday, but for the testing.
Was it Friday? Was that Saturday?
No, it was Friday. It was Friday. My bad.
Thank you. I was like, did I lose? I swear I watched Saturday's game and I don't remember Michael Wacha.
No, so yes, that was on Friday. Further testing revealed the injury. They're giving him enough time to not only for that bone to heal, but for the ligaments to heal correctly around it. Because if I wanted to make sure that I was understanding it correctly, his plant foot, that, you got to have a lot of strength and trust in that foot. So the corresponding move, left-hander Daniel Lynch IV is back in Kansas City. 3 outings, 2 starts with the Royals this year. If you look at his line, it's not bad. 2 earned runs on 7 hits and 2 walks in 12 innings. But I am very shaky about Lynch.
You missed one stat there. How many strikeouts does he have, Jacob?
Does he have any strikeouts?
He has a couple. Let me look.
Yeah, please pull that up. I didn't have it in front of me, truth be told. But yeah, Daniel Lynch is back with the team once again. I get it. I understand why you didn't go to like a Anthony Veneziano or a Jonathan Bolin. Bolin already had his chance this year, didn't do very well. So Daniel Lynch is kind of the 6th man up right now.
Yeah, 12 innings, and he has. Come on, stop moving around. He has 8 strikeouts.
8 strikeouts. That's pretty good. That's all right. That's all right.
6 strikeouts per 9. It's not great.
Okay.
The strikeout to walk ratio is 4-1, so that will usually play. But he's not getting any whiffs.
Yeah.
I think he had 1 whiff all day against the Twins, and that's where I go back to. Woo, that's streaky. Ooh, he's gonna be streaky. He's gonna have some games where he looks okay because they just keep hitting it right to the fielders, and he's gonna have some games where he looks real bad because they ain't hit it to the fielders, but they're always gonna be hitting it. Yes. If he can keep the walks down, it'll be workable for the month or so that Wacha's gone. But he's also got to get those home runs under control. He has a 1.50, and again, 3 outings, 12 innings pitched, so small sample size, sure. But these numbers are in line with his career numbers. Last year, in 50 innings, he had 5.85 strikeouts per 9 and a 1.55 homers per 9. So those are pretty similar numbers. The walks are significantly less. If he can keep the walks significantly less, he'll be pitchable.
Yes, that he will.
If the walks come back up, we're done.
Yeah. Thankfully, he will have a good amount of time to get worked up. He shouldn't be pitching until Thursday. Because Seth Lugo will be pitching on Tuesday, Brady Singer will be going on Wednesday, and then Lynch will be pitching on Thursday.
So the final game of the Guardian series.
Yep, that is correct. So that will be interesting to see him come back. So, Jeremy, let me put you on the spot here. Let's say Daniel Lynch has a good 3 starts.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 starts, 2 quality starts. Like he looks like he belongs in this rotation all of a sudden. Do you keep him up when Wacha comes back?
No.
No? You send him back?
No, I'm going to trade him. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, look, he's a little bit better. Can you get him even more better? Can we have a reliever? Can we have an outfielder? Huh? Can we have both? Huh?
Like a used car salesman out here, Jeremy.
And Urseg? Athletics? Huh? You want a Daniel Lynch? Sean Manaea worked out pretty good for you. He was a lefty.
Now we got to get that on the TikTok, Jeremy. You got to pitch each team Daniel Lynch. No, that's a great point. And I think as we sit here talking the thread of Kansas City better not head to Cleveland with MJ Melendez on the team plane. If I don't want to see Daniel Lynch go back to Omaha. It's either he stays in Kansas City or he goes to another team.
Okay, so here's the thing, is that he's clearly not as good as the other 5 starters.
Right.
I think that's obvious.
Yes.
So you'd say, okay, we'll put him in the bullpen. Maybe he can help the bullpen. But he's got the same flaw as the bullpen does, where he doesn't strike out enough guys.
That's true.
He's not improving the bullpen. So given the choice between sticking him in the bullpen, keeping him in the rotation, and bumping someone else out of the rotation, or sending him back to Omaha, I would send him back to Omaha, keep him stretched out as your 6th starter.
Okay.
Unless Alec Marsh proves that Saturday and his start probably kind of Monday, but really Saturday was the one that was like, oh, that's 2023 Alec Marsh. 5 innings, 5 runs, walked as many as he struck out. That's 2023 Alec Marsh.
Yep.
If that's what he looks like, then you say, all right, well, Daniel Lynch, you pitched pretty good. We'll keep you in the rotation, and we'll put Alec Marsh in the bullpen where his stuff might play up a bit and help them out.
Yeah, that's true.
That's where it's like we got to see where things are in a month.
Yeah, and we're looking at 2 weeks.
Also, somebody else could get hurt in the meantime.
Yeah, jeez, I really hope not.
But that's one of those reasons why, like, predicting, like, okay, what do you do in this situation a month from now is almost like a fool's errand a lot of times. Is like, how are we ever gonna? Oh, well, that 6 guys got hurt, so we're actually asking where can we get more guys from? You know,
that's that question might not age very well, but we'll see. I'm wishing nothing but the best for Lynch as he makes another start on Thursday. Hopefully the Royals are going for the sweep at that point, which, I mean, I get Cleveland's pretty good, but when you got 2 to be announced slots in your pitching rotation.
Oh, well, that's scary for the Royals. Royals don't like to be announced. They're like, oh no, it's a guy making his debut. We don't have film. We don't have scouting. We can't hit this guy.
No. God.
Bring Shane Bieber back. We've seen him.
Speaking of bringing guys back, it does sound like the Royals are going to be a little slow with bringing Michael Massey back. Jeremy,
that's a huge bummer.
What'd you hear on that, Jeremy?
So during the broadcast, Dr. Goldberg, as Rex called him, informed us all that Massey is taking the treatment. It is helping, but it's not helping as quickly as they thought it would. So he's probably going to be on the IL for longer than the 10-day minimum, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But also, as a person who has repeatedly criticized the Royals for bringing guys back from injury too fast, I'm not going to complain if they want to take it a little bit slow on this one. And with Nelson Velasquez hitting, at least he's not hitting well necessarily, but he is hitting, which is more than you could say for the corner outfield DH slots for a good chunk of the year. He is hitting the ball sometimes. With that happening, the starting pitching being what it is, you can still win some games. It would help if the bullpen would get back on another hot streak here. Maybe they're getting it all out of their system. It's a lot of hits they gave up over the weekend to the Padres. I mean, Angel Zerpa didn't walk anybody. 4 hits though. I think it was Friday night's game. John Schreiber and James MacArthur, neither one walked anybody. They just gave up a whole bunch of hits.
Yep.
So, like I said, it's a bad streak. Hopefully they'll get on a hot streak soon, and we'll be talking about another, 8-game winning streak carried by a 16-inning scoreless stretch by the bullpen.
Hopefully so. That would be on par with the 2024 Royals. Jeremy, is there anything else that I'm forgetting for us to talk about? I don't really. This was as much of losing as they did. The issues were pretty straightforward, at least, and it's definitely their 9th inning comeback on Sunday is the whole reason why we have smiles on our faces when we're talking about this team right now.
Here's kind of my experience as a fan of the team right now is every loss, hi cat, biting the hand that feeds you, not a good idea. Jacob, this cat is biting his hand on my video screen for those of you who can't see, which is all of you except for me. It's completely distracting me. So my experience as a fan Why are you doing this, Jacob? The cat is dancing now.
All right, I'll stop. Go ahead.
I can't. I have ADHD, Jacob. This is not going to work. Okay. My experience as a fan is every time they lose, which was 6 times last week, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm frustrated for a day.
Yeah.
As you said, Jacob, this is not where I should be. Don't need to be there. It's going to be okay.
Yes.
And that's the thing, is that's why I like coming here to talk to you, because when I actually sit down and talk through what this team is doing, as opposed to just watching the games and feeling the feelings and not thinking about the logic of it all, when I talk about it, it's like, oh yeah, this is not that bad. Mm-hmm. It sucks to lose games. You always lose some games. No team has ever gone 162-0. Has not happened. Don't think it ever will. So, like, this is my recommendation to all of you, is when the Royals lose, sit down for 5-10 minutes and do some math about, like, how good they have been still and how bad they would have to be to truly be awful. I saw some comments in Saturday's game thread, stealing another idea from there. Some people said, I said this was a 72-win team before the season, and I haven't changed my stance, and I'm not going to change my stance. Y'all, the Royals have already won so many games that to only win 72, they would have to play like 300 the rest of the way. Woo. They're winning more than 72 games, okay? Will they win 95 games, 100 games that they've been on pace for a good chunk of the season? Well, maybe not. But 90 games is not out of the realm of possibility. They're 100 times more likely to win 90 games than to win 72. Okay?
Agreed.
That's just where they're at right now. As we talked about last time, Zip's currently projecting them, or at least last time we checked Zips, which was before this series, whatever, projecting them to 86 wins. Okay? 86 wins. So, you do a reasonable deviation from that, you can get up to 90. You could go down to 81. If I told any of you before this season started that the Royals were going to win 81 games, you'd have said I was an optimistic moron. Okay? So just take a minute, take a deep breath, remind yourself that one loss is not the end of the world, that it does not mean that everything is coming crumbling down, and realize that this team is probably still going to finish the year doing pretty good.
Yeah.
As I've said a few times, I haven't said it in a little bit, I'll say it again today. What I asked for from this season was play some meaningful baseball in August. That's what I asked for. They're going to be playing meaningful baseball in September.
Yep.
Okay? Whether they actually make the playoffs, I can't promise. I think they're gonna. I believe it in my heart that they're going to make the playoffs this year because the extra wild cards, if nothing else. But they're going to be in the race in September. I guarantee that. Guarantee it. Okay. So that's all I'm saying is I get it. I get the emotions of being a fan. I get the being upset, but just when you're feeling upset, just stop and remind yourself the Royals are, how many games over 500 are they, Jacob, right now today? 11 games over 500. Okay. Early in the season. Don't count them out yet. Okay. That's all.
No. Their 36-25 record this season is 18 games better than their record through 61 games in 2023 when they were 18-43.
They're also, I know I said that's all, but I got one more thing. They're also not the only team that is sitting in second place in their division that has a team that's just playing out of their minds leading their division, that played 4 games against the third place division opponent who's kind of middling and lost 3 of them this week. And the Atlanta Braves split the first 2 games. They did win today. They won 2 out of 3. The Royals won 1 out of 3. But the Braves got to play the Athletics, who are not as good as the Padres.
Nope.
And they only won 1 more game in the last 7 than the Royals.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to look me in my face and tell me the Braves are done? That they actually suck? I don't think you are. I don't think any of you would do that. I don't think you're that dumb. So, yeah, it's a bad stretch of baseball, but it's not the end of the world.
Nope, not at all. There are people who, in the same breath as they criticize the Royals and say that they are a losing team in 2024, will also talk about how the Houston Astros turn it around and win the AL West. The Houston
But
Astros.
they won't count the Royals' wins against the Astros as wins against a good team.
Exactly. All right. So y'all get your stories straight, and if you're gonna come at folks, come at them proper. All right, because here are the numbers I'm going to show you. Royals as of today, plus 74 in run differential. That is a major sign of sustained success for any team in a season. The Guardians have 78. Okay, they're not that far.
I did not realize that the difference was that small.
Yeah. Well, granted, they're like the teams leading the league right now. So I think if I'm doing my math correctly, the Royals are sitting tied for 5th in run differential in MLB. Okay. Also, I've talked to you about this before, Jeremy. It's been a while since we checked in on it. Their expected win-loss record, by looking at their runs scored and the runs against them, expected win-loss is 38-23. All right. So they've been so unlucky, according to the stats, that it's worth 2 losses. All right. This is a good team. Let yourself live and believe it. All right. I know we're all scared of getting hurt. This isn't the 2003 Royals we're talking about. This is the 2024 Royals.
And you know what? I had a great time following those 2003 Royals for most of the summer. Did September kind of suck? Yes. But you can enjoy this team now, and if they suck in September, you can turn them off and go find something. You can go watch some Chiefs games, okay?
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. It's like, well, what are they doing in the preseason? What's going on with the training camp? Like, it's...
I mean, in September, the Chiefs will be playing in the regular season.
That's true. Sorry, I was like a month off in my MLB calendar.
The best fun to be had as a Kansas City sports fan. I don't know what the soccer schedule is. I'm sorry. I don't know when that is.
Yeah.
But when you've got your baseball, you've got baseball that's fun to watch until the football starts. And then you've got football that's fun to watch until spring training. And that's what we're dealing with right this second, okay? The Chiefs have played in all the Super Bowls, just all of them for the last few years. So they played till February, and then spring training is right around the corner, and you don't got to wait. And then you're like, all right, let's see what's going on in spring training. And now this year, the Royals are like, well, we're going to get you into the Chiefs season. It's going to happen this year. We might be well into Chiefs season before you're done with us.
And wouldn't that be a joy?
Yes.
What was it during that I think it was during the 2015 World Series where they were having like a scheduling issue with because there was supposed to be a Chiefs game during the World Series, right?
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember exactly. I remember I was sitting there going, I get to watch playoff baseball and a Chiefs team that I expect to be pretty good this year. What? This is heaven.
Yeah.
And now we have Patrick Mahomes instead of Alex Smith. And we have Bobby Witt Jr. instead of Alcides Escobar.
That's the biggest improvement right there. All right, coming up on the next episode, we will be talking about, is Adam Frazier really better than Omar Infante? Stay tuned. No, I'm kidding. That's not what we're going to be talking about.
I mean, we could.
I mean, we
it actually might be kind of fun, like over the All-Star break, maybe to just be like, if the Royals are still playing pretty good, which I think they will be, to just compare this roster to the 2015 and 2014 rosters. I think it would be telling because I think this roster is somewhere in between those two.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's my gut instinct, is that it's somewhere in between those two. So I'd love to sit down and do that comparison.
I think that'll be a great exercise during that time where we have to fill in nearly a week. Well, no, it's more than a week, isn't it? I'm blanking.
No, the All-Star break is like 5 days.
So it's like 2 weeks in baseball time, right?
I guess. Yeah. They play that Sunday and then they don't play again until Friday, except for the All-Star game.
Ugh, gross. Disgusting.
Well,
all right.
Here's a question for you. Can any Royals be in the home run derby this year? Wouldn't that be nice? I would love that.
That would be nice. I can't think of any. Honestly, like
someday Bobby Witt Jr. is gonna be in a home run derby, but it may not be this year.
I don't think it'll be this year, but yeah, I think if they had to pick a representative, it would be Bobby, because I love.
They go with Salvi.
I don't
put on a pretty good showing the year he went.
He did, but you know what? The national narratives had me believing in Pete Alonso more than Salvador Perez during the home run derby. Okay. It's, just Salvi does not have the national presence that the polar
In
bear
fairness,
has.
Pete Alonso did win his second home run derby in a row, which had never happened before. You gotta talk, it's like saying, well, you guys are only talking about Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. They're the best players in the sport. Of course that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we still don't. I get that we can't sit here and talk. Well, we can sit here and talk about baseball for about 2 to 3 hours, but we do have things to do outside of this podcast.
We?
Believe it
or
not,
I don't have anything to do. I'm
going to school, Jeremy. Going to school.
Jacob. Oh, not school.
Society says I have to have a collegiate degree, even though I have 10 years in my field. Help me. All right.
Capitalism sucks.
On today's Royal Reviews, now I'm gonna steer this bus back on the road.
I mean, socialism probably sucks too, but
we'll be chugging along to the Spotify Q&A responses.
Oh yeah, those. Let's do that.
Yeah. All right. If y'all are listening to us for the first time, you can head on over to Spotify and check out our questions and answers and our polls there. It's a great way to interact with us. Make sure that we actually, see it, and you don't have to get on social media or nothing for it. You just drop in the question and you answer it. And we love hearing from you. So I asked on the last episode, who do you think should get more playing time if Vinny and Massey are hampered? Because at this time, that was after.
So you put him in the dirty clothes hamper? What?
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, isn't that
why would you do that?
IL, the laundry hamper?
That's got to smell bad. MLB dirty laundry hamper. Ugh.
It's got to be awesome. I don't even want to.
Especially in the stadium where George Brett is. Oh.
Not George.
That's a reference to the Bellagio story for those of you who didn't catch that.
If you don't know the Bellagio story, go look it up on YouTube.
I'm not telling it to you. You have to look it up yourself.
Nope, we're not talking that story. Not recounting that. Okay, that's not our story to tell. Let George tell it. All right. Like I said, I asked y'all, who do you think should get more playing time if Vinny and Massey are hampered or sidelined due to their injuries? Steve, it's just Steve, no last name, no nothing like that. Steve says, Fermin with Salvi at first. I want to see Lofton for an extended period at second against all pitching. He really reminds me of a young Zobrist. That's some high praise there, right, Jeremy?
Everyone said that about Merrifield too. Just because a guy can play multiple positions and primarily play second base does not make him Ben Zobrist, y'all. I love you. That's not how that works, okay? Yeah. Also, Steve, I think we might have a celebrity in our midst, Jacobs. Just Steve is, of course, the name of the protagonist for the Minecraft series.
Oh, that's right. My gosh.
One of the biggest video games in the world.
Steve, I'm so sorry. Yes, yeah, he is. Nick Lofton is a Royals All-Star, Royals Hall of Famer, if you will. Future World Series champion.
Write him in your ballots.
All right, David Kim says, well, it's kind of a moot point now that Vinny's back. Yeah, you got me there, David. I think Lofton could be a nice piece, but just want Q to keep mixing and matching based on matchups, which he's done a good job of so far. All right, David, I like it. Don't you like it, Jeremy?
2 thumbs up.
Yes. 4 thumbs up from the Royals Rundown podcast crew. Longtime listener Royal Rupert says, trade Vinny for bullpen help.
No, what are you doing, Vinny?
Wait, hold on. It's not Arnold. He's not Arnold Schwarzenegger over there. Or
my
Danny
cousin Vinny has nothing to do with Arnold Schwarzenegger. What are you?
I'm thinking of twins. I'm thinking of twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito.
My cousin Vinny is Joe Pesci.
What have I done?
I have no idea, mister. I don't know who's in Speed.
We're bringing up that again.
Always,
as we should. Rupert went on to say, put Mr. On Base Salvador Perez at first base full time. Call up Logan Porter to back up the Ferminator. Play the hot hand between Frazier and Lofton at second. That last sentence I can't disagree with.
Salvi's played a lot of first.
Yeah, he has.
Over the last couple of weeks so that Fermin could get in the lineup.
I think it's if I looked at the numbers correctly, Salvia's caught 36 games and he's either been DHing or played first in 25 games.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's a good mix, I think.
Yeah, that's a great mix. Really, really ends his playing career, as we've talked about before.
And he's hitting well enough to justify. That was the thing. Everyone was like, we gotta move Salvia to first so we can keep that bat in the lineup. And I was like, you want that bat in the lineup? This year I'm like, yeah, get the bat in the lineup. Get it in there.
Yeah, it's worth it this year. Last year was a little painful, to say the least. Christopher Palmer simply says Fermin and Logan Porter. So we got a good amount of Logan Porter supporters in the house tonight. Porter supporters? Say that 5 times fast. Ginger 620 says Freddie Fermin shift Salvi over to first for most of Vinny's absence and let Fermin catch full time during that span. Let Lofton take over at second for a while and put Frazier in the outfield. Hey Ginger, what did Q do today? For the most part, almost everything you said, Ginger. We got a Royals plant in the comment section over here. Interesting. Aaron Bailey came out of left field with another option. Dairon Blanco. Melendez needs to be sent down. Maybe give Prado another go. Remember, we pretty much gave up on Gordon, but he came back and was a totally different player.
No one gave up on Gordon, y'all. I mean, maybe some of us as fans gave up on the team. Never gave up on Gordon. Okay, so don't go spreading that around. The team was always in on Gordon.
Yep. Dylan says more Freddie, Nelly, and Lofton. Lofton should be the positional versatility guy moving forward. Yeah, hoping for that. I was, even despite Hampson's hot May, I was hoping that a move on was on the horizon. And I imagine whatever goes on with Isbell is only going to keep Hampson in Kansas City for longer. But after he's 100%, and if Adam Frazier is still 100%, so is Nick Lofton. I don't know. I
got to tell y'all, I got some concerns about Lofton. They pointed out during the broadcast today, he does not have an extra base hit this year.
That's true.
He's turning into Nicky Lopez, y'all, with worse defense and less speed. That's not gonna do it for me. I know we all love Nick Lofton. I am not trying to hate on Nick Lofton, I promise you, but I am also not prepared to name him the best Royals player. Okay, just like, please, just take a deep breath. Okay, that's all.
All right. Christopher, longtime listener, sides with me, Jeremy. Okay. He says Nate Eaton. All right.
Yeah. How does that help second base?
Well,
can he play second?
He has before.
All right. Let's do it. I'm in.
Screw it. Let's
believe
go
Eaton
back
more than I do Lofton. I know that's a hot take, but there it is.
Ooh, interesting. And then lastly, Mind the Mooses says, I'd like to see Lofton get a good look. He's held his own whenever he's had a chance.
I'm not opposed to Lofton playing second while Massey is out. I'm just trying. I don't know why I feel like I have to say this every time someone mentions Lofton. I'm not opposed to him playing second while Massey is out. I just don't think he's Ben Zobrist, okay?
That's true.
What a cutie!
I do just want to note that she crawled up on her own accord. So for everyone not watching this podcast, my pity has just been trying to get my attention at my feet for about 15 minutes here, and finally gave up on it.
Oh my goodness, this podcast is so long, Jacob. We got to go.
It is. We really do. You got a review this week or no?
Yeah, I started watching Ya Boy Kong Ming. It's an anime about Kong Ming, the strategist.
Okay.
From the Three Houses War, I think is what it's called in China, and he's reborn in Shibuya, but like in a adult form, so it's really more like he time traveled than he was reborn. And he has all of his memories from when he was Kong Ming, and he hears this girl, like teenage early 20s girl, singing in a club, and he's like, you're the best singer I've ever heard, make me your strategist, I will help you like become super famous. And then like he does things like she has this performance at the same time as this other super popular performer, and he uses strategy to confuse all the audience goers so that they accidentally go to her performance, and then they can't find their way out, so they just stay there and listen to her. and like he does, it's goofy as heck.
I bet it sounds,
but it's a lot of fun.
Okay,
it's very charming to me. I enjoy it a lot.
All right.
Your boy Kong Ming.
That's all that matters.
He has a thing. Like, he has this character quirk where he loves like different weird glasses. Like he's worn like star-shaped sunglasses, and he wore like these sunglasses that had like a scrolling text on them. That kind of character quirk will get you far with me, where I'm just like, yep, he's doing the thing. It's the thing. I like that thing.
I can't imagine like the villain glasses push with like scrolling text across.
Oh, he did it. He did it. It was great. It was chef's kiss.
Perfect. I'll have to go check it out. My review is more of a shout out as usual. College baseball is in its tournament form right now, and my hometown team, the Kansas State Wildcats, are onto the regional final. They and the Southeastern Missouri, I think is their SEMO, SEMO. They were the 3 and 4 seeds down at Fayetteville, and the Arkansas Razorbacks and Louisiana Tech got eliminated. And I just want Kansas State to win, because if they win and Virginia wins, then the Wildcats come to Charlottesville, Virginia, which is like a 3-hour drive for me. That'd be really fun to go see them play some baseball. But yeah, go Wildcats, and I'm just enjoying this absolute gluttony of baseball that we have right now. It's a good time to be a fan of the sport, not just MLB right now. All right, Jeremy, anything else before we get on out of here?
Greg in the Royals Review Slack decided to post a picture of himself at today's game. That's fine. You all remember Greg. I love Greg. He was wearing a Padres jersey.
Come on, Greg.
Now I'll give him that it was the rainbow shaded City Connect jersey.
It's pretty nice.
And we are in LGBTQIA plus, et cetera, all the Alphabet Mafia awareness month. And he wore some beautiful, beautiful rainbow shorts.
Yeah.
But y'all just, not in a serious way, but y'all just razz him a little bit over on Twitter about wearing the Padres jersey
in Kauffman
Stadium.
Come on.
While they're playing now, if they weren't playing the Padres, that's fine. Like, you know, that is a static uniform. When the Twins, I think it's the Twins are the last ones to come out with their City Connects. When they come out with their City Connects, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to rate all those bad boys. So look forward to that.
All right.
But until then, though, I will give you this tip: San Diego City Connects, they're nice. I like them a lot.
They're pretty damn great. So yeah, go give Greg a hard time over on X. His link is down in the podcast description below. If you want to give us a hard time for just speaking the truth and hurting your feelings, you can do that on X. I just gotta poke the bear, Jeremy.
Oh,
our links are down for X. They're down in the podcast description below, or just follow us for the hell of it. You know, I think we're pretty fun folks. But once again, my name is Jake Milham. He is Jeremy Greco, the hatted one. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and until next time, go Royals!